is, did Blinken know that the Hunter laptop was actually accurate? And he was asking people to do things that were dishonest.
And Bauer says his letter played a major role in producing the excuse to keep the story from getting to the American people.
We've got polling that shows if the American people would have known about the Hunter laptop, enough of them say they would have voted for Trump, not Biden, that it probably would have made the difference in the election.
Bauer says big media and big tech eagerly complied by suppressing the laptop story then. They are complying today by suppressing these latest revelations, too. I'm Chad Groening.
D.C. public school students returned to class today after spring break as long as they tested negative for COVID. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more.
Students and staff members at District of Columbia Public Schools heading back to class are required to provide a negative COVID test in order to return. Before students were sent home for spring break, they were given an at-home rapid COVID test to use the day before classes resumed. They were told to upload the test results online, or if they didn't have internet access, instructed to bring the result to their child's school on the first day back to class. The D.C. Public School District has a policy of reporting COVID case numbers at its schools, with last month's numbers showing fewer than 10 positive cases per week district-wide. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The Storm Prediction Center said severe storms are possible over parts of central, north, and south Texas tomorrow, with a risk of damaging gusts, large hail, and maybe a tornado. Here's Fox Weather's Kendall Smith.
Note that we already have a level 2 out of 5 threat for the areas shaded in red. This does include DFW down to Waco, Austin, even San Antonio. You're kind of right on the fringes of that level 1 to level 2 threat. The primary concerns will be, however, for very strong damaging winds and also some large hail.
On Wednesday, more storms could produce large hail and damaging winds over central and north Texas into parts of the Arklatex. Isolated severe storms producing hail are possible in Florida as well. For American Family News, I'm Robert Thornton.
Forget about Facebook.
The last 10 days we've been banned twice, and is unbanning a word?
They put us under the ban. Christians and conservatives
Don't need you, YouTube.
Banned one day, banned again.
AFR programs are now live streaming on the AFA streaming app. Now you can get shows like Today's Issues straight from the source.
Put back on the next.
just say unbanned.
Unbanned.
Just search AFA Streaming or visit streaming.afa.net to sign up.
You know, as Christians, we have to understand and be real with where we are.
That's what we have to see first, individually.
And where our mindset is and what we desire.
Airing the Addisons.
I think what God is really calling us back to, it's those individual personal revivals in our own lives where we're like, oh Lord, what have we done? We have minimized you.
Promoting truth, wisdom, and empowerment.
As the church, man, we should be on the forefront of making disciples, of indoctrination and godly things.
If we don't train our kids, they will not be able to stand.
Airing the Addisons.
On American Family Radio, thank you so much for listening. I'm Miki.
And I'm Will.
And Sweet Victory and J-Mac are on tap to help us navigate the program. Got a lot of news that we want to get to today. In fact, the title of the show is In the News. I just want to look at some headlines, look at what's going on. So we'll do that. But before we do, I just want to say, man, what a great time we had in Paris, Tennessee. Like, I really am so grateful to have been able to spend the amount of time that we were able to spend with members of the Body of Christ at Tennessee Valley Community Church. Just, man, what a wonderful, wonderful time. I was so encouraged and just strengthened, you know, just to see the body of Christ at the same time encouraged by what was presented over the weekend and then encouraging us. Like it just, man, it just builds you up in your most holy faith. Like it's just such a great thing. Also, I am happy to, have made it out of Paris, Tennessee without a speeding ticket. I just want to say,
man.
so man,
The adventures.
So listen, okay. So on day 2, this Adventures in Odyssey, day 2. On day 2, we're headed to the pastor's luncheon. Oh, it was horrible. And I thought, I know where the church is now, so I don't need to use GPS. And so we're headed over in the Addison Mobile, all of the kids, you know. And we're all talking, as we often do, and it gets rowdy. Our vehicle is very loud,
Yes.
guys, just very, very loud, because everybody's talking and we're laughing a lot, and it's just what we do. And so we're talking, and then we're going kind of a distance, and then I think it's JD who says, I think we passed the church. And I'm like, no, maybe, wait, oh, yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, we passed the church. So we turn around, and we're running late now because I've gone a little bit, and I'm like, I don't want to be late. I don't want to be late. So I start booking it.
Yeah.
And we get right there to the church. This is on Thursday. And I get right there to the church, and I see blue and red and probably some other colors that I just couldn't make out because my eyes went glossy. Like, I haven't been pulled over by a law enforcement officer except for like a check. You know how they just do regular, like, want to see your driver's license, like those kinds of, I don't count those things. I mean, I hadn't,
checkpoints.
Checkpoint, since I was in college, right? Like, so I really, I'm a really good driver, generally speaking. Okay. So I see the lights as I'm turning into the church's parking lot.
What a great witness.
Oh man, it was, guys. And so first of all, everybody knows the feeling, right? But here's the thing, and I use this as I pull in. Okay, I can't even. As I pull in, I'm going, I deserve this. That's what I kept saying. I was speeding. I knew I was speeding, and I deserve this. And I told the kids, I said, this is what sin is like. You know that you're wrong. Like, what are you going to say? So I go, I'm getting my driver's license out. And because we vlog when we travel, we record it. Everybody's going to subscribe to the channel now because they want to see this. Our daughter, Mariah, was filming. So she's got it all like, they'll never let me forget it. Mom, you sinned. You broke the law, And so the officer comes up, and I say, I deserve it, sir. And I'm handing him my license. I'm just, and he goes, man, what, you were just booking it. He goes, where are you going? And I said, I'm embarrassed to tell you that I'm going to a church event, and here are all of our kids. And he says to Mariah, he goes, are you documenting all of this? And she's like, yes, sir. And I say, sir, I deserve it. I'm sorry. I was speeding. I broke the law. And he goes, is this where you're headed? I'm pulled right into the church's parking lot. I go, yes, sir. And he says, raise your right hand. And I go, okay. And he goes, do you promise not to speed? Listen, folks, he goes, the rest of the day, sir, not only the rest of the day, but tomorrow and the day after that, until I leave Paris. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. No, I took it very easy. Like, well, the great.
Well, that's why he said the rest of the day. Because he
right, because he didn't want to hold me to something that I couldn't keep, right? So, but let me just tell you, I never paid so much attention to the speeding signs because I'm really a safe driver. Like that's something that's important to me, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to get there, and I knew it, and so I deserved to get a ticket, and I was just so like and I kept saying, oh, I deserve this, and the officer says, well, I mean, do you want me to give you a ticket? Right. No, sir, I don't. But I'm just saying, I know, I recognize that I have fallen short and I deserve. So I received a tremendous amount of grace. And so our kids are just like, Mom, like you were speeding and you got pulled over by law enforcement. Like, do you know how long it's going to take for me to be able to outrun that? Like that's, and for time. Them, oh my goodness.
That's going to come back years from now when they have going to have their families. Remember that time?
Oh my goodness! So that means for the rest of our like training to drive lives, you and I, well, me, I'm not going to be able to say, hey, watch your speed. Hey, watch your speed. You know what we say as parents. Hey, slow down. Because now what are they going to say? Oh, really?
You talking about speed? And that's when you're like, be quiet. I'm a parent.
She's working at this moment on putting together a montage of our trip to Paris, Tennessee. It will include the quote unquote pullover. Okay. It will include that. God bless the officer who had mercy on me. Yeah. Didn't give me what I deserved. Can I tell you though, as I often do, it turns into an illustration to communicate to them an eternal truth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
Nathaniel asked about, what is mercy and what is grace.
Yes.
So I had a chance to talk to him at the church about it. And so it was it was like a good lesson, a lesson that you don't want to have to, teach again.
My goodness.
But but yeah, definitely. And that's part. Look, this is part of ministry as far as not getting tickets, but being able to use real life situations,
the life lessons. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
to talk to the children, and also it's a homeschooling.
It totally was, because I didn't realize that our kids did not understand. Like they didn't really understand what it means to get a ticket, or like they didn't understand the concept of how like you want to avoid getting a ticket. Because Gabby said, "Man, that was so cool. You actually got pulled over by a police officer." Like, that's not cool. Like, what are you talking about? And she goes, "Well, how bad is that?" "That's bad. That's really, really bad." And she goes, "Well, is it only because of the price of the ticket?" "Well, no, yes, that's bad, depending on how far over the speed limit you're going. But also it can impact your insurance. And you don't want to be a lawbreaker.
Right,
you don't want to do that. You know what I mean?" And so I didn't realize that they needed several lessons to come out of this. So I guess if that's the result, maybe that's good. I don't know. All I can say is that once I got to church, I was on a 10, just like, what is it? The endorphin levels, where you're just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe, hadn't been pulled over since I was in college, headed back to college late and trying to get there. That state trooper, Louisiana state trooper, pulled me over, and I asked him for mercy. I remember I was probably 19 or 20. And I said, "Hey, can you let me go with a warning?" And I will never forget what he said. I don't know if that state trooper is listening or remembers this conversation, but this young woman at the time looking for mercy, this is what he said. He goes, "The next time I pull you over, I'll let you go with a warning. But today you're getting a ticket." That's what he said. And I'm thinking in my mind, but sir, there's not going to be. No,
you're not getting off today.
I deserved it. I was on the Bonnie Carey Spillway. I think it's 60 or something up there, and I was going probably 70, 75. I deserved it. I can't say that I've ever been pulled over and I didn't deserve it, or I was shocked. You know what I mean? Yeah. So of the two times, now I'm a veteran all of a sudden, and all the times it's the two times, and both times I deserved it. One time, no mercy, got what I deserved, right? And then the second time, incredible amount of mercy, incredibly humbling and embarrassing in front of the kids. What was interesting to me is that Mariah didn't think she needed to respect my moment and put the camera away. She just...
She's like, ooh.
She's like, oh, this is good. This is juicy. This is going to be good.
Oh, man.
I should have done one of those paparazzi things where I just put my hand over the lens. Stop it. Can I please just respect my privacy? we request privacy. Anyway, wonderful time in Paris, Tennessee. And it was a great blessing to be with the body of Christ. All right. In the news today, the big news is, and this is shocking for so many people, Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on over there, but
yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
especially since he basically carries the network with his program, his ratings. I just don't understand.
And not only that network, but just in general, he's
cable television.
And I think he just had an interview with Elon Musk.
He did.
How do you?
He
did.
But
anyway,
I don't know. I think that there's going to be more details that come out.
Secure.
Well, I think there are going to be more details that come out, and I'm kind of interested to see exactly what is going on. The reason that is given, well, I don't even know that I would call it a reason.
They gave a reason?
No, I guess it's mutual agreement.
Yeah, right.
Here is Harris Faulkner today on Fox News making the announcement. This is clip 4.
We have some news from within our Fox family. Fox News Media. We have some news from within our Fox family. Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have mutually agreed to part ways. Tucker's last show was this past Friday. And starting tonight, Fox News Tonight will air live at 8 p.m. Eastern. It will be an interim show with rotating Fox News personalities until a new host is named. We want to thank Tucker Carlson for his service to the network as a host, and prior to that, as a long-term contributor.
But I will say, when you say a mutual agreement, it almost sounds like, we both just decided it was, because that's a firing, right? Yeah, that Tucker Carlson didn't have any control over, obviously, because he didn't do a farewell show. Right. It was just, you're out.
Right.
And on the same Friday, he had his last show aired on Friday. He was actually speaking at the Heritage's 50th year celebration, this big, huge gala, where he made a couple different comments that are a little bit chilling to hear now, which to me indicate that he did not know that Friday was his last show. And so I pulled a couple clips from his speech. He made a speech, and then he actually sat down with the president of the Heritage Foundation for sort of like a Q&A. It was all a part of kind of serving as the keynote for this event. And I just don't think there's nothing to indicate to me that Tucker Carlson knew that Friday was his last day. And even some of the jokes that were thrown around at this event, at this gala, I don't think can suggest at all that Tucker Carlson thought, yeah, this is it, that Friday was my last show. So there was something that happened, and I guess you'll just have to wait to see what comes out of it. But here is clip 2. This is in his actual speech presentation, kind of the setup before the Q&A, where he's talking about, basically what is bravery and what it means, what it costs us to tell the truth. But just listen to some of his comments in here, which, again, I think indicate he did not know that they were going to mutually agree to part ways. This is cut 2.
The truth is contagious. Lying is, but the truth is as well. And the second you decide to tell the truth about something, you are filled with this, I don't want to get supernatural on you, but you are filled with this power from somewhere else. Try it. Tell the truth about something. You feel it every day. The more you tell the truth, the stronger you become. That's completely real. It's measurable in the way that you feel. And, of course, the opposite is also true. The more you lie, the weaker and more terrified you become. We all know that feeling. You lie about something, and all of a sudden you're a prisoner of that lie. You are diminished by it. You are weak and afraid. Drug and alcohol use is the same way. It makes you weak and afraid. But you look around and you see these people, and some of them really have paid a heavy price for telling the truth. And they are cast out of their groups, whatever those groups are, but they do it anyway. And I look on at those people with the deepest possible admiration. I am paid to do that. I face no penalty. Someone came up to me, you're so brave. Really? I'm a talk show host. It's like I can have any opinion I want. That's my job. That's why they pay me. It's not brave to tell the truth on a cable news show. And if you're not doing that, you're really an idiot. You're really craven. You're lying on television. Why would you do that? You're literally making a living to say what you think, and you can't even do that? Please.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-44-BIBLE. That's 833-44-BIBLE. 833-44-BIBLE.
Hello, this is Steve Tiber with 8 Days of Hope. As many of you know, Hurricane Ian devastated southwest Florida late last year, making landfall as a Category 4 hurricane and leaving tens of thousands of families in need of help. Hurricane Ian caused over $110 billion of damage, but today we're excited to announce that 8 Days of Hope 19 will take place in Fort Myers, Florida from May 20th to the 27th, bringing much needed relief to these families in need. We'll be focusing on roofing and drywall, mechanicals, painting, and so much more. If you love to use your gifts to serve those in need, we invite you to join us. It's free. We provide the food and lodging. Everyone is invited regardless of your skill set or your age. If you can't volunteer, we invite you to pray for this outreach. Pray that the families we serve would see God glorified as we rebuild their homes. For additional information regarding this rebuilding trip and how to get involved, please visit 8daysofhope.com. That's 8daysofhope.com.
Here's Ellis Craft of Reach a Village Ministries.
Children were singing as they laid down palm branches to welcome Jesus into Jerusalem. Children were part of the crowds who were listening to Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount. Children were among those healed of diseases and raised from the dead by Jesus. Jesus had a special, tender love for children. Children are often among the first to open their hearts to Jesus when the gospel arrives in a village. Give today to reach children like these, and your gift will be matched dollar for dollar. Go to reachavillage.org/AFR or call 833-773-2247. That's 833-7-REACH-7. Again, that's 833-7-REACH-7.
And if it's God that I'm after, I just can't serve two masters. And before something happens, I gotta turn it all around, because I know I can't just have my cake and eat it too. 'Cause it's real easy to stay on the fence and still do you. And it'd be cool if we could love the Lord and still go do our thing. But see, it doesn't work like that. You gotta be white or black.
You're listening to Aaron the Addisons on American Family Radio, the network. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'm Miki.
And I'm Will, and that's Jonathan McReynolds with No Gray.
By the way, this broadcast is also available via podcast, so you can download the show and listen as you're folding clothes. Maybe it doesn't work for you to listen at 2 Central or 3 Eastern. Then listen when you're folding clothes on Saturday at 10 a.m. And then back to back after that. Just catch up for the whole week. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, just making suggestions. You know, you got to fold those clothes anyway. So yeah, you can get the podcast. Also, you can watch it live on YouTube and Facebook. And from time to time, we show video you can hear some of it. Today, we're going to show you a video that honestly, you're going to be able to hear the children's response to what's happening in the video. You won't be able to see it unless you're watching on YouTube and Facebook. And I just recommend this one does actually require you to see it. So the viewers will be able to see it. But if you're listening, you'll only be able to hear the reaction. I'll narrate a little bit of it for you. Just won't do it justice. It's disgusting, but took place in a middle school last month. And again, just one of those things is what our kids are facing. This is what they're up to. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but that's just a plug of information so that you know how you can connect with us. We're talking about Tucker Carlson, who is out at Fox, which I think is a really dark move for them. Like, I think it's really bad. They don't, I mean.
Yeah, but that's a big move. So I'm curious to hear what they're going to say more about this, because there's some speculations and different things. But I just, that's a huge move to have your lead off person, you know, to be fired. That's what it looks like. It looks like fired. But I would say this about Fox News: I don't watch any mainstream media at all. But the only thing I would watch from time to time were clips of Tucker Carlson on YouTube and stuff like that. So now it's like, I mean, I don't know. They're gonna take a big hit because
I think so, and I think they deserve it. And I would also say that Tucker Carlson, because of the way he operates just individually, like, so, you know, even when he was doing like the weekends, I used to watch him on the weekends and listen to his commentary. And one of the things that always stood out to me about Tucker Carlson, like back to his bow tie days, was that he was always thoughtful, but like, man, just very crisp in his commentary and the way he delivered it. He's not like easily excitable, I guess, but it just is always a matter of fact, which is so refreshing to just, he's got this commentary, this response that's so bold, and it seems so basic, but you need someone who is bold these days to communicate what is basic. Like it's just basic truth. But you've got a lot of cowards on the air, so you need someone who's bold to just kind of get back to the basics and communicate that. And Tucker Carlson was doing that. You and I, as we were talking about this earlier, you feel like he's gonna, of course, land somewhere else.
Oh yeah, definitely will pop up somewhere. And there's at least one I saw a video of making a pitch for him.
Who was it? Can you say?
It was Glenn Beck over at Blaze. He was like,
okay,
hey.
Well, he better watch out for Ben Shapiro, because Ben probably will come for him as well. Hey there, Tucker. Sorry, Ben. You mock all kinds of people, so you can get it too. I don't know. Maybe Tucker should do his own thing. You know, he did start the Daily Caller.
That somebody else said that too.
Maybe he should just do his own thing. He also had an offer, which this is so ironic. Like he actually had an offer on Friday night when he was at this gala event, sitting next to the president of Heritage, Dr. Kevin Roberts. He did the whole, introduction. Then Tucker Carlson shared a few remarks, and then they were going to do this kind of Q&A as a part of his keynote. And there was this banter as they were getting set up and transitioning from Tucker standing at a podium and then sitting in these two glorious white chairs, just beautiful chairs. And then they're bantering, but the comments are just kind of eerie now on a Monday. The comments are eerie. Let's listen to what that sounded like. This is clip 3.
But all seriousness, Tucker, thank you. What a great message.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yep.
It was heartfelt.
Things go south at Fox News, there's always a job for you at Heritage.
Well, you've saved me before, so thank you.
We do that for a lot of people very happily. We're not called America's Outpost for nothing. Yeah, think about that.
Oh, we're thinking about it, all right. We're thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just incredible. Like, if things go south at Fox News, and then in his speech, he referred so much to his job. I think we may have a little bit of a delay. I felt like we had a little dropout during that clip playing, but we'll work around it and see if it all gets worked out. In the meantime, back to Tucker Carlson, and that's just eerie. You know what I mean? Like, which again, to me, you don't know that that's coming if you're making jokes like that. Like, that's not just I'm looking for a change, or I suspected that there was a problem. And I saw the clip or the Twitter post I think you sent me about him coming after Big Pharma on the 19th, and then but I feel like Tucker has come for all of the sacred cows, if you will, at some point or another. I don't know if that's it. That may be it. There may be more to it. I don't know. At the same time, Don Lemon is out over at CNN. Doesn't have
that's funny.
Quite the same feel.
I mean, maybe Fox gonna pick him up.
I mean,
they're going in that direction anyway.
Why do you say things like that? Why do you say things?
They was making room for Don.
Anyway, wow. The only one who could campaign for his own daily program and still fail. You remember back in the day with Bill O'Reilly on Fox News, making points, offering commentary, one of the top rated shows at the time, Bill O'Reilly, and Don Lemon, if I'm not getting this wrong, Don Lemon was talking about, he's basically like following Bill O'Reilly and saying that, hey, I was making the same point, but I only have a weekend show. If I had 5 nights a week to be able to make points, I probably could do the same thing that Bill O'Reilly was doing. And it's like, okay, so then they gave him one because, equity. And so, and then it just turned into like, oh my goodness, so many, they had no choice. Right. But then his programs often turned into like him just being offended at people. And then the following program was a repeat of what he experienced the night before. And it always, to me, sounded like, I mean, could you believe what they said the other night? Could you believe what they said? Could you believe? I'm like, dude, is that what your program is? Get people on, provoke them to offend you, and then the rest of the week you're talking about how you were offended by so-and-so. That's your highest claim to fame, that so-and-so offended you because of your sexuality or the color of your skin or whatever. Anyway, and so it doesn't feel the same that he's leaving CNN. I kind of feel like Don Lemon, he enjoyed his intersectional points. Okay, like he knew he could just do whatever he wanted because points. So like, what are they going to do? So I can be completely inebriated out of my mind and cover a New Year's event. And what are they going to do?
Right.
Like, what are they going to do? I can, anyway.
Yeah, he should go.
So CNN, you whatever.
Yeah, he should go join Roland Martin or somebody. They can go have fun.
Is he still doing stuff?
Well, on the internet.
Is he still doing? Is
Not
Roland
on
Martin still doing stuff?
Yeah, on the internet.
Okay. Which, I mean, that's legitimate,
It
right?
is.
Like, that's
Very
legitimate. But
legit.
do people still listen to him?
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's the question I'm asking.
certain
Like, do
people.
people still listen to him? Because in my opinion, now, of course, you know, in my opinion, I think the corner market of network television is actually gone. I think internet is the place that you want to be. I think network television has become the dinosaur in culture, which is why Tucker Carlson was such a change for Fox News, because while people were flooding and leaving those platforms because they saw them as compromised, Tucker Carlson was sort of like, I think, people's hope that maybe the conservative news outlet that was Fox News, maybe they still had some conservative ethics. That I think people thought that was possible because of Tucker Carlson. Now that Tucker Carlson is gone, I think people are like, you know,
I guess
you could have
just
kept the
holding
other guy.
on
Who was
to
the guy who hosted the news program during the day?
who was
Shepard.
that?
Shepard
Oh
Smith.
yeah.
You could have just kept Shepard Smith, you know.
I guess
Anyway,
they
I
just
don't know.
hold on
So
to Laura
we'll see how
Ingraham.
that all goes. For now, until she makes him mad. Until she makes him mad. Anyway, let's move on. I've got this story in the news headlines. Always looking at what's going on with our kids and what's happening in schools in this country, and this is just very disturbing. I don't know how there's no way to really defend it. I'll just get into the story. We'll play the clip, short clip. Our viewers will be able to see it. I will attempt to narrate what is happening, but please don't expect me to try to make it make sense for you, because I'm not going to do that, because it's totally disgusting and should not have happened in a middle school. And you can hear that in the response coming from the kids. You can hear that the kids, when the children are crying out and saying, what is even the point of this? Like, why are we doing, like, then, man, we've got really big problems as it pertains to our public schools today. Like, anyway, a Washington State middle school was investigated for having students and staff play a licking game that parents described as, quote, highly vile. Even if parents didn't describe it as highly vile, you could stop at a licking game.
Right.
Like, if you just said that, that's enough to say no. So listen, I want to say this. So when teachers and assistants sit down and when they decide on an assembly program, like, I'm going back to my days of middle school, okay, and thinking about how you decide on what's going to be the topic for your assembly. We're going to gather all of the students into the gym. Okay, and so I have this idea. Here's what we're going to do. So we're going to get this plexiglass, and we're going to put whipped cream on each side of the plexiglass, and we're going to just have the teachers and the students just run up one at a time and simultaneously lick either sides of the glass. Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say the students and they're going to, like, where was the meeting that happened in, and nobody was bold enough to say, I don't think that's a good idea. You know what I mean? Like, why didn't anyone think that was a problem? And certainly, why didn't anyone think it was a problem coming from the person who offered it? Why didn't they turn to that person and say, okay, first of all, that's a bad idea. Second of all, what's wrong with you that you think that that's a good idea? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Desert Hills Middle School in Kennewick had minor students and adult teachers compete to lick marshmallow cream off either side of two clear plexiglass panes. A video of the incident shows the game was held at a school pep rally on March the 31st. Okay, so we're going to play the clip, and I'm going to attempt to narrate what you're seeing, and not from a place of defending it because it's indefensible, but just so that if you're driving and you're like trying to understand what's going on. Okay, so this is clip one. Okay, so here you've got one teacher who goes up to the glass and runs off. I don't know if it's a race to see who can lick off. The kids are completely grossed out, guys. So the plexi pane is moving around. You've got the teachers trying to hold it steady. It's absolutely ridiculous. Then the final teacher, I don't know who the final teacher is, that comes up and is licking the glass opposite a male student. And it's so disgusting. You can hear the kids. One kid is like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. This is so inappropriate. Okay, we can stop the video. That's enough. So So what happens? What's the breakdown in schools when you have this kind of disgusting, despicable display, and there's the belief, there is the hope that this would be something like productive? You know, like what are we expecting? Like, what's the point of the exercise?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I
Being
just
nasty. I don't understand.
It is so
There's
disgusting.
I mean, what? Yeah, I would like to know what they have to say about that. Like, this is to teach students to do what?
What?
You know?
Like what? Like what's the point of the exercise? And then you've got that last teacher, the male teacher, who comes out and, man, it is clear to me. Like, I think he should be suspended. I think he should be suspended. I think all of them, that, you know, each of them who participated, you know, I don't know, and I don't want to overuse terms because I don't want those terms to lose their meaning. But like, at what point is it abusive of children to do things like this, to have a kid on the opposite side of a thin glass where your tongue and that kid's tongue is sliding up the glass at the same time?
It's gross.
Like, who thinks that's okay? I
gross.
just don't understand it. You know what I don't understand it. So anyway, the only reason we know about this is because one of those students was recording on her phone, and she went home and showed the video to her mom. The mom was beside herself with disgust and posted it on her Facebook page.
Yeah.
The mom, Megan, I guess it's Say is the name, I would say. I didn't mean to say it that way. Megan Say is the name. Okay. This is what she said, quote, "In my opinion, we do not send our children to school to be exposed to highly sexualized behavior by adults. We send them to school to learn and for them to socialize with other people their ages," end quote. The second half,
Yeah.
That's not a necessity.
Right.
She went on, "They shouldn't have to sit in a gym for a school assembly and wonder what's going on. School should be a safe place for children to go. And this despicable display of adult behavior was hard to watch." Yes, it was, Mom. I agree with you 110. This was like our kids say, cringe.
Right.
This was totally cringe.
Totally cringe.
And aren't we coming off of this huge thing where it was in the news headlines that you had the Dalai Lama having a kid?
Yeah.
Aren't we already in the mindset of like,
Right.
yeah, just keep your tongue in your mouth?
Right.
Like, just stop that. That's disgusting.
I mean,
Come on.
what do these school officials say? Oh, they were just having fun. This was a fun activity. Like, it's just something.
Great question. So the superintendent, a woman by the name of Dr. Tracy Pierce, said in a statement to families on Friday that the investigation has been concluded, and she called the incident, quote, "not an appropriate activity." Oh, really? You had to open an investigation
Really?
to find that?
Really?
Like that? You came to that conclusion after the investigation? Because I cannot investigate and I can tell you that this is, quote, "not an appropriate activity."
Man.
Give me something else. All right, we'll grab the break. Aaron the Addisons on American Family Radio. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Kirby Anderson, president of Probe Ministries and host of the Point of View radio program. You've probably noticed that many young Christians leave the church after they graduate, but they don't have to graduate from God. That's why I want to invite your children and grandchildren to attend the Probe Mind Games Camp in Texas. We prepare them for college and their entry into a world that will challenge their faith. This one-week camp includes lectures, role play, along with some great fun. It will take place June 18th to the 24th. Go to probe.org for more information.
The tornadoes that twisted across parts of the Midwest and Mid-South left an aftermath of overwhelming destruction and grief. Now, chaplains from the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team are there in the midst of the devastation, sharing the hope and love of Jesus Christ with those who are suffering. God is at work. You can find out how on Facebook. Search for Billy Graham Rapid Response Team. The Billy Graham Rapid Response Team, sharing hope in crisis.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I'm Corey, and this is my story. I was going through some financial troubles paying off my credit cards. I was paying high interest rates, and it just wasn't getting any better. And I knew I had to do something. So my mom told me about Trinity, and so I decided to call. Trinity was able to do something that I couldn't. I'm paying off my debt, I'm saving thousands, and things are really looking up. I promise you guys, you will not regret it when you call Trinity, because it was such a relief and less stress in my life, and it was the best thing I could have done for myself, because once I called Trinity, they took care of me, and I felt such a relief, a weight off my shoulders, and they are a Christian-based company. I love it.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-788-1813.
I'm Corey, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
1-800-788-1813.
Introducing AFA Streaming, a new online platform that hosts all AFA-produced video content, including documentaries, church curriculum, American Family Radio shows, and our Cultural Institute series.
The Constitution only works in the atmosphere of Christianity.
Critical race theory and intersectionality are new religious frameworks. The Christian must say, as Paul said to the Galatians, there is no new gospel.
AFA Streaming is a vital step that we are taking to fulfill our vision to be a leading organization in biblical worldview training for cultural transformation. You'll find top-notch resources that address the issues of our day related to marriage, family, the sanctity of life, and many others. Start streaming today, streaming.afa.net.
Hey, don't get distracted by this earth. This place that we live for a small amount of time. These things we think we could take with us when we die, they don't last. Keep your eyes on the prize. Man, we looking around, but we gotta stay focused. This life about a moment. I don't wanna let it pass, I wanna own it. Look in the grass, you see the opponent? He wanna see you in chains, he wanna see you in the flame. But you're gonna be with the saints, you gotta go through all the pain. You living it now, but to die is a gain. I think about heaven a lot, and I'm gonna do it for God. And now when I'm throwing the talent, I'm giving it all that I got. Look, I hope to see you in paradise. This ain't a game, ain't a paradise. I don't really care to be verified. I'm aware that light is what you bear inside.
Welcome back to Airing the Addisons on American Family Radio. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Miki.
And I'm Will. That's Give It to God by Tyson James.
The principal from the middle school with the assembly where they had the students and the teachers participate in some sort of licking game. Which, man, right? Like there's no way to say it and just kind of say it like it's a thing that should just be legitimate. Right. You can't. There's no way to say it, right? Like a licking competition. Nope, still bad.
Still bad.
You understand what I'm saying? Like there's no way. Just right. So the principal, man by the name of Casey Gant, issued an apology for the activity in a statement to parents, saying the following, quote, "On behalf of Desert Mills Middle School, I would like to apologize for the activity that took place during our recent assembly." Man. It's more than checking people's hall pass. You know what I mean? It's more than telling teachers take their breaks. Like, I mean, my goodness. All right. As building principal, the principal went on, as building principal, I take ownership for the events that occur in my school, and I recognize the impact that the situation has had on our school community. I'm committed to the safety of our students and staff, and will ensure that all future activities meet the highest professional standards and adhere to district policy. Again, I apologize that this incident occurred and for the negativity brought to the Desert Hills community. The mother of the student who recorded this incident and gave it to her mom does not find that sufficient. She does not. That's not enough for her. One of the problems that she has is that there was not one staffer that was suspended or terminated. Right. Like not one suspended. And look, I understand what it is to be in a setting where you want people to be good sports. Like you want them to participate. And so, you may have teachers. You go back to the days of like dunking booths, like teachers would participate in that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And they wouldn't necessarily want to. Like, I don't, but teachers, they would want to be a good sport. I don't know. I feel like the teachers would have been well within their right to be like, no, I'm not licking the plexiglass.
Right. It's a no for me,
opposite
dog.
a student. That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah,
I'm
can't
out.
do that.
Like, I'm out.
I mean, what happened to dunking booths? What happened to
bring back the dunking booth? Like,
I mean, just play Ring
pie
Around
in
the
the
Rosie.
face,
Something.
maybe. Pie in the face, something, anything. But like, don't. It just is. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and it does not. It's not a good message for the kids, right? There's no way to unsexualize that kind of contact across. Anyway,
Yeah.
so there's that. Then there's also the news that David's Bridal, the largest wedding gown retailer in the United States, has filed for bankruptcy after laying off 9,000 employees. You know, I was looking at this and I was thinking, this kind of goes into the category that immorality is really bad for business. Like we kind of want to try to ignore that, but it is really bad for business. This falls into the same category of Toys R Us. You murder all of the babies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then that's your target audience.
Right. Your customer base.
You know what I mean?
is
Like your customer base
destroyed.
is gone.
Yeah. They're pretty much gone.
Is sin and immorality, and you don't point to a biblical definition of marriage. There's nothing that's sacred about that anymore. And so why even do it? Like if there's nothing that's sacred about it, so why even do it? Then of course, if you've got, you know, a retailer that sells like 25% of the nation's wedding dresses.
Right.
25%. That's pretty big, right? Like, I mean, it's for the me people. Okay. So it's not going to be for the people who like, you know, get their weddings like broadcast everywhere and they tens of millions of flowers, you know, it's just on the cake. Like, it's not going to be for them. No, they can go to the different places, like the high end stores that are going to, you know, do fine because it's all about the show anyway. But for the average Joe, David's Bridal was like your place to go. Like that was your place to get your wedding gown. Anyway, David's Bridal has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection just after laying off more than 9,000 employees. The Pennsylvania-based company said in a press release Monday that the company, including retail store locations, would remain open and operations would continue as normal while it seeks a buyer for the business. But this is something I found interesting in this story. According to Yahoo Finance, fewer weddings could be to blame for the business slowdown. The outlet reported that there were only 1.7 million marriage ceremonies in the U.S. in 2020. That's the lowest level in 121 years.
Wow. Well, look at
the
that.
lowest level in 121 years. And you might be tempted to say that was because of 2020, but you haven't seen that tick back up to the 2.2 million marriages that you normally would see pre-pandemic. You haven't seen it, excuse me, come back up to that level. Anyway.
Wow.
Again, there are consequences for our departure from truth. Collectively as a nation, there are consequences. And I think this is just another one of those things.
Wow.
Okay, let's see. One other thing. I'll open the phone lines if you want to comment on anything that we've talked about, and then I'll squeeze in one more story. 888-589-8840. Excuse me, 888-589-8840. I can tell you that I may want to carry this story over, if the Lord wills. I would like to carry this story over to tomorrow because I think this is really interesting. Let me grab the story here. This story, oh my goodness, have I lost my story? Why can't I find my story?
Well, let me just say this: as far as the David's Bridal, you know, I don't think we can dismiss those type of things when we see them. You know, it could be easy to say, well, that might not be the reason, but I think where we have turned in culture, you know, it's just these are the results of what we get when we go against the design that God has laid out. You know,
Absolutely.
and so that's an indicator of where we are. You know, when you see businesses failing like that, and particularly that type of business, you know, it's like, wow, 9,000 people having to be laid off because business is not good, because people are not getting
You're not
married.
getting married. Yeah, exactly
And
right.
so it's just I think it's a telltale thing, and something that, you know, when I hear it, I'm like, man, wow. You know, it's a sobering fact.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the way that we have degraded marriage, like biblical marriage, you know what I mean? Now you just have anything. You just have anything. And I think what we don't understand is that to water down the institution of marriage, to present something that isn't and call it marriage, that you really mess with people's understanding of how sacred it is. And so when it's not sacred, then for what is legitimately a marriage, why engage in that? Like, why, you know what I mean? Because it's just whatever. It's just whatever. And what we have done, and even for those who would affirm it, those who say, well, I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, you are still giving your approval to wickedness and then degrading the institution itself. And so anyway, I think that's just a huge problem. Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do. Since we have the calls that are ready, let's go to the phone lines here, because the story that I have here that I think I could say I'm going to get through it quickly just to throw it out to you, but I really want to kind of unpack this because it's so sinister. So I'll hold off on this until tomorrow, Lord willing. But let's go to the phone lines. Will the Great, where do we go first?
All right, let's go to Harrison in Texas. Hi, Harrison.
Hey, just wanted to say that when people start living together and not being married, and they don't have the respect of God to get married and show him that their union is worthy, that's what happens, you know. Less people will get married, and less people will try to get married because they're already together, they're already living together, they're having babies together, so why even do it?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
You're absolutely right. It is dishonoring to the Lord, but it's become normalized in our culture. And again, it is, in addition to people just shacking up and living together, it's also the public declaration that it can be whatever. It doesn't have any meaning. It's not rooted in anything of significance. There's no eternal value to this. It's not, and as we know, the world would say this, but we know that it is a picture of Christ in the church.
Right.
Like it is presenting to us what Jesus Christ has done for us, that he's redeemed us, that he's made us his own. And so when you lose all of that in culture, even if people don't lead with that, the residue of that fact has been present in American culture. So like, even if you have people who don't have overtly Christian weddings, right? Like there's still the understanding that this is something that predates them. Yeah. That it is between a man and a woman, and that it's sacred, and that it's a commitment. Right. And you can't water that down without suffering the consequences of it. Just like you can't murder babies, you can't murder babies and then still expect to have the largest toy distributor continue on and business is good. Yeah. So thank you so much, Harrison. Appreciate your comments. Will the Great, where do we go next?
Let's go to Lynn in Arkansas. Hi, Lynn.
Yeah, hi. I was going to say I'm a real fan of Tucker. Truth, and he tells the truth as far as I can see. I actually trust no man, though. I always kind of look with, a critical eye to hear whatever they have to say. And I was kind of surprised that he was on there as long as he was, saying what he did, because I've heard about the hierarchy of Fox. And also the hand they had in the last election of announcing some results early or something like that, where they thought it could, had a bad effect on the results. And, a friend of mine said, when I told him about this, well, that gives the FBI a chance to go for him now. And I hope that happen, and I would just say to everybody to pray for Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, man, that's a sobering point that you just made there, Lynn. My goodness, we live in a sad time when people would even brace for the weapon that is the FBI. Like that, that you would even stop and think for a second, okay, well, now I'm going to be, beaten up on by the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Like, that's just really sad. It's disheartening. And I think the thing that may be saddest about it is that it doesn't seem far-fetched at all. It doesn't feel like, hey, no, that couldn't happen. Because we know where we live. And we know those who have fallen out of favor based on what administration is in office. This is just, it's really, really sad to consider. Yeah. All right, Will the Great, where do we go next?
Let's go to Dee in Kansas. Hi, Dee.
Hey there.
Hi.
Obviously, you guys are not aware of the 60 Minutes program last night about the gentleman that they said was he started the riot and was leading.
Are you talking about the QAnon shaman?
Mr. Jepp, I think was his name.
Okay. Is he known as the QAnon shaman?
I don't remember that part.
Okay.
But while I was watching it, I thought, oh, they're going to sue Tucker now. And my husband said, what? And I said, they're going to sue him. They're after him now. So this may be a preemptive strike to keep the network not involved, but how could they not be? but obviously the guy that and whatever his name is, he at first in the program said, "We're going to the Capitol," and then he tried later when the police showed up. He said, "Let's back off," and it's like he was really inciting, in my opinion, a riot. And then when it was going to get out of hand, he backed off. He was a retired Marine, and was he part of? I wish my memory were better, but he might have been part of the boys group. Gosh, why can't I ever remember anything?
Well, I know that's okay. That's okay. I'm not familiar with the 60 Minutes piece that you're talking about. I can do a search for it and find out. I do know that Tucker is problematic for, anybody who wants to continue living a lie and not, you know what I mean? And so whatever shape that takes, I know that there's been some talk about the Dominion settlement and all of that, and maybe he was to blame for that. I've read a bunch of different things,
right?
But I hesitate to bring those things to air because there's nothing. I want to hear from Tucker.
Right.
Let's hear what he says, at least from his perspective, what he believes to have been the reason. I think there are any number of reasons. That's why, and somebody else sent something about, it's over Big Pharma, it's this and it's that. But here's my point, and I'm going to say this publicly. There's a lot of it's this and it's that to follow Tucker that he could have been gone a long time ago. Like none of those things are like, that's the new thing. And that's what I feel like he has been, resisting a lot of status quo, if you will. A lot of like just kind of go along and you say you can be zesty just enough, but you still have to toe the line. I feel like Tucker Carlson never played that game. He was never just like spicy for us. It was like, no, he's telling it straight. He's bold enough and determined enough to reveal information that no one wants to reveal. So he would, get the information and then bring it to millions of viewers every night. He's been doing that for a very long time. There is a reason that we're not aware of, and I think we'll just have to wait and see what that is. That's my opinion. All right, we're out of time. Until tomorrow, Lord willing.
God bless.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not